It's so insane to me sometimes, when we talk about self image and who we are and trying to accept where we want to be in life or how to get there. I was watching this video by Beige Frequency. It was about Amy Schumer, but I'm not talking about Amy Schumer. He mentioned this woman in his documentary or his docu series called Bonnie McFarlane, and it was the saddest thing I had ever I ever seen. I can only laugh. It was so sad. The premise was she was a beautiful young girl. This is a real thing. Beautiful young woman in the comedy space who was playing that edgy, beautiful woman that says edgy things. He played a clip and it had her saying, she's white by the way, she's really cute. He played a clip of her and she was saying the n-word. It wasn't a context, but it wasn't really comical. It was just her saying something unexpected. And as she got older, by the time she got to 30, comedy was really working for her. So she decided to dress up as a man instead. Oh, she decided to dress up as a man, and just to make the point that, people weren't liking her anymore because she was a woman, not because she was unfunny. So she went up on stage and she did this bit and about a merce, like a man purse, and the whole thing was unfunny. So unfunny, it was actually comical because she was dressed up as a man. She had on a fake ass beard, even though her voice was up to here, and she just kept on repeating the word merce at the end of her joke as the punchline, and no one was laughing. And then Beige Frequency, he just cut to the clip of her crying, questioning if she's actually funny, weeping in the hands of her husband as her husband reassures her, "You did great, sweetie. You did great." I'm shook because that was the saddest thing I had ever seen. I'm sorry, excuse my English. And then after that clip, Bass Frequency cut to say that now she's just posting those annoying shit on Twitter that older white woman always posts, like, "I'm not gonna shave my armpits today." He showed a tweet. So check out his video. It's called it's Beige Frequency. It was it's about Amy Schumer. It was part 1. And now Bonnie McFarlane, she's now, I'm looking over here because I wrote down her name because I'll literally forget it. Bonnie Frequency Bonnie McFarlane, she's now all into feminism. Where was that feminism when she was young and sprucey and she got all the validation from everybody? It's like when I think about feminism, I feel as though it's the crutch that everybody needs, but doesn't, like we all, as not just as a woman. Well, in this case, as a woman, we always have this chip on our shoulder, and we will always walk a little bit lopsided. And feminism is that crutch that everybody needs, but because we're young, it's easier for us to walk with this, chip on our shoulder, with this hobble. But when we get to 30, we really, really see we always needed this crutch. And it's not until the man beside us stops holding us up that we depend on that crutch. And I don't even think that's 100% true, because in the case of Bonnie McFarlane, her husband was there the whole way. "You did great, sweetie. You did great." And Bonnie is questioning her whole entire life. And then this morning I watched this thing by what's their name? They're these two black men. It's called Abba and Preach, and they're talking about, do we actually want vulnerable men? Disclaimer, I didn't watch all of it. I stopped at 228 because it's more of an observation that I'm making. In handling how we view ourselves as people, in trying to analyze who we really are, in trying to figure out where we're going in life, and trying to, sort ourselves out, I mean, this isn't really any constructive criticism. There's nothing really to take from this. This is just me rambling about my thoughts. I think we don't really take the time to figure ourselves out, and we keep asking people who we should be, and we keep trying to look for something, and we don't really take the time to just figure ourselves out and to become comfortable with our apparent and obvious discomfort. So before I had watched this video, Do We Actually Want Vulnerable Men by Abba and Preach, I was actually watching the video Growing Up Believing You're Ugly, also by Abba and Preach. And the thing is, for me, when I was growing up, I thought I was ugly, period. I thought I was abysmal. And the thing is, because I was born and raised in Jamaica, and everybody's black in Jamaica. Everybody's black in Jamaica. And I had inadequacies within myself because I had inadequacies with my weight. I remember the first time I hit 100 pounds, I was like, oh, fuck. And I remember, I love my mom, we sorted through it, but at the time, she would kind of make fun of my weight. I don't know if my issue started before that or after, but I just remember one time I was like in grade 6, and I was changing with the other girls in our classroom, and she wasn't really my friend, but this other chick, she just looked so good naked, and I looked at me, and I had this big belly, and my titties at the time were all flat, and I was like, damn, am I just crusty, musty, dusty, or what have you? And I went through a really bad depression and just self-conscious issues and eating problems and eating too much, eating too little. And I was like 10, 11, 12 at the time, and I couldn't blame it on the lack of representation in Jamaican media. I couldn't blame it on that because everyone is essentially black. There is colorism issues in Jamaica, absolutely, where the lighter you are, the better it is. But in terms of representation, like who wins Miss Universe, who is on the cover of this or on the cover of that, it doesn't have to do with your skin color. I was struggling with what I was struggling with because even at the age of 10, I could tell who was beautiful and who wasn't. And I was grappling with the concept of self-worth. And what was I worth? Was I worth something because of how I look? Was I worth something because of my intelligence? Was I worth something because of, I don't know. That was my real issue. And in coming to the States, between me being 10 years old, I'm now 20, it's been 10 years, and I came here in 2018, so I came here when I was 18. So from 10 years old to 18 years old, I lived in a absolutely black dominated environment, and I had to come to terms with who I was. And even still, it was until coming here I still struggled with self issues, but I wouldn't blame it on media. I wouldn't blame it on representation. So when I watched Growing Up Believing You're Ugly by Abba and Preach, and I saw, I think it was, I don't know their names really. He's the one with dreads, talking about, he thought of himself as less because of, the lack of representation in media, because there were no people that looked like him. So he felt that he was inadequate, and he said that he wrote "You Are Ugly" inductive on his wall. That's so freaking sad. But it made me wonder, would he chalked it all up to lack of representation in American media, but would that really have changed if he was in a place where black people were represented? Because when I was watching it, I thought of myself and how I felt. I used to say all kind of things to myself, all kind of things, how I'm ugly and inadequate and all these things. I had real issues, but I was in an environment dominated by black people, and I still had those self-esteem issues. And it made me wonder, me with my self-esteem issues, this black man with his dreadlocks, with his self-esteem issues, and this grown white woman who didn't really know who she was and was constantly looking for validation, but still had issues. We all have something in common. I don't know what it is. I'm just talking to figure it out, because I watched all three of them between yesterday and today, and I really thought there's something happening here. And I think it's more than just about representation in the media around us. Because this white woman, she's not blonde or anything, but she's certainly beautiful, and she was skinny, and she put her worth in her comedy, and she wasn't funny. She wasn't funny, bro. At least, I mean, I didn't watch anything that she had done, but that one skit that I think she put all her marbles in when she was dressed as a man, to see, is she just unfunny, or is she unfunny because she's a woman? And for her to realize she's just unfunny, and her whole world shattered. Her whole world shattered. And it makes me wonder, how do we as humans get our worth? That, where does our worth come from? Where does our worth really come from? I think we put our worth into one thing, whether it be our looks, whether it be our career, whether it be our spouse, whether it be our children, and we put everything we have into those things. And because we put our everything into it, we're setting ourselves up for failure. The difference between, I think, the man with the dreadlocks, I think his name is Abba, or is he Preach? I don't know which one he is. Oh, I think his name is Abba. Oh, I'm just gonna stick the man with the dreadlocks. I think one thing that I lost my point. I think one thing that we had in common was perhaps we all want to look good, even if it's for ourselves, and there's no problem with that. But how are we going to get to a state where we don't have to put everything in one basket? Because looking at myself, I can't speak for anyone else. Looking at myself, I don't know why I thought that if I got the body that I wanted, I would be happy forever. I'd be okay. I'd be fixed. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Okay, I'm back. I think I'll get better at this talking thing, because at the end of the day, I guess it's an art. And the more I talk, the more I talk during these long format videos, the better I get at sorting out my thoughts. So when looking at Bonnie, when looking at the man of the dreadlocks, when looking at me, it's clear that we all have issues that we probably still have to this day about our worth, about our value as people. And it makes us wonder, it makes me wonder, where should our worth really come from? I can't say, what I can say is that going through what I went through from ages 10 to now, in dealing with like my self-esteem issues, I definitely think I have thicker skin. Because from going through what I went through in Jamaica and coming here, I think I definitely have thicker skin, in that I don't really compare myself much to white women anymore. I kind of did in the beginning in getting here, because it's weird seeing a white person in real life. I mean, I've seen white people before in Jamaica, but it's just different just seeing them everywhere in real life. And I just look different. It makes me wonder, I just look different. But after adapting to that, I didn't really have an issue with my self-esteem because of the lack of representation. I put quotation marks because am I even paying attention to the representation? Perhaps subconsciously. I know there's studies for it. Maybe I should read the literature, but even if there was more representation to the degree that there is in Jamaica, would I still feel the way that I did back then now? So, where do we put our worth? When I was watching the Mental Health Gamer, he's so cute. I love him. Him and his wife, they're so great. I really like the work that they're doing. When I was watching his videos, and he was talking about he wanted to become a monk, because he was saying that, and I can't remember in what video he said it, but he was talking about how nature doesn't really care, about how you look. Nature doesn't care about anything because it's nature. And I guess that's like it has a very stoic approach to it, and not caring about, certain things. I need to read more because this is basically just my verbal diarrhea. I need to read more because a lot of times I just sit down and I just think about it. There's something time me who went through eating disorders and depression between the ages of 10 to 18. Bonnie, a grown white woman who put all her eggs into the basket of her comedic career, which ended in her tears, and now she's on the crutch of feminism because her sexual jokes weren't taken the way she wanted to be taken. And this black man with his dreadlocks, not feeling that he's adequate when he was younger. There's something connecting us. And I feel like there's more people that are connected, because I think that this problem is absolutely universal. It's crazy. I don't have anything to wrap this up with. I just talked for 15 minutes. In concept, I always think I know what I want to say. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to start doing writing points when I just think about this. But anyways, I didn't post yesterday because my sleep schedule is fucked. Going to sleep at 10:30 p.m., waking up at 5:30, I'm fucked, bro. It's fucked because I don't fall asleep until like 12:01, and then I wake up late as hell, and I just keep trying to make a cycle, and it's not working. So I was super tired yesterday, didn't post nothing. My friend called me, I didn't pick up. I was washing the dishes, and then I got tired as hell, so I didn't post a video yesterday. My sleep schedule is awful. Didn't do no yoga. I'm eating good though, but that's because I'm broke, so I can't order any food. Pardon me. I think yesterday was day 12. Today is day 13. I'm having all these thoughts. It's a good time. So, day 13. Going strong.